University of Alberta named a building after her, which I got to be there and give a speech for, and the City of Edmonton has a school named after her. The Government of Canada has a stamp with her face on it, and all of these really amazing things. And she passed away in 2017, and that loss is still like really felt in our family. It's like, even though she's gone, I still feel her all the time, and I always say, like, it feels like she's working through us from the other side. Like, with the work that I'm doing with my writing, we're all doing things that I know she would have been proud of, and we're all using our own individual gifts to do it, carrying on her legacy and fighting for our people in our community.
I'm talking to the Cree, Métis, and Salish writer Cheyenne Marie Sage about her new memoir, Soft as Bones. I'm Matea Roach, and this is Bookends. Cheyenne, you were just talking about the importance of your writing as, a way of advocating for and representing your people, but I also get the sense that writing has been really powerful for you personally and part of your journey to kind of healing from some of the traumas that you experienced as a child. Has writing this book been a source of healing for you?
Oh my God, writing this book has been the most cathartic experience of my life. I mean, healing is a lifelong journey and it never ends, and we're continually growing. But writing this book allowed me to process and release so much that I think was stored up in my nervous system. Because there was so many moments of writing this book where I then just had to pause at my computer desk and just start sobbing. And it was during moments of surprise, moments that I wasn't expecting it, right? Because I think a lot of people would assume the most difficult part of writing this would be writing about what happened with my dad, but it really wasn't. Because I can talk about that till I'm blue in the face. I've done it a million times to so many different therapists and talking ceremonies and throughout my life. But when I was writing this story, and I was writing my mom's story, and I was writing my sister's perspectives, and interviewing my sisters was the most emotional part. And I didn't realize it throughout the years, but even when we were younger, we've all been on our own solo journeys, and there hasn't been too many moments where we have come together and talked about what you saw, what I saw, the things we saw together, what we talked about, what we didn't talk about. And writing this book created a space for that. And so me and my sisters were having conversations on our own, talking about all of our experiences from childhood. And it was a lot of tears and it was a lot of emotion, but it was very connecting and very healing.
I'm wondering how your sisters felt about going through this interview process and you writing this book, because I know you mentioned you got permission from especially your sisters and your mom for things that you write in this book about things that they went through or conversations that you've had. I know in a lot of families, though, the impulse would be, you know what, we're still not going to talk about this. I don't want you putting my name in a book and putting my thoughts in a book. How did they feel about this story being out in the world?
Yeah, they have been 100% supportive from the very beginning. I remember I knew I was going to write this book from the point that I was 12. From the point of the court date, I knew one day I was going to write this book. But what's interesting is at the time we thought we would all write a book about it from our own perspectives leading up to it. So I think because of that, I think we've always kind of known that our story isn't just our story, like ours and our family, but it is one piece of the mosaic that makes up the entirety of Indigenous history and experience across Turtle Island. And I think because
前方1公里处向左转。
everybody else can feel that, and Indigenous people that have had similar experiences can read these words, and it can hopefully help them in some way. The bravery of my family and having the hard conversations.
前方600米处向左转，沿着 HWY 627行驶。
To us, and seeing how we can come together and heal together.
Oh my god, I'm like crying just here too. Just that story about hearing your grandfather's voice on the phone and not even having that. I'm like thinking I would recognize my grandfather's voice.
现在向左转，沿着 HWY 627行驶。
Imagine how impactful, like it's so impactful for me, and this is not even really my family story, my heritage, so I can imagine for people that have similar stories, this could really do some powerful work, I think. I'm curious, you mentioned a couple times grad school at Columbia and having this love of writing that clearly comes from a very early age. It sounds like you come from a creative family overall. But your path to being someone who has an MFA from an Ivy League school was not linear at all. How did that love of writing get you first into the University of
请驶向
Alberta
提
and
示路
Columbia,
径。
despite